Well, I cannot speak with authority on the legal and jurisdictional hairs that we're splitting here today. I can speak on the scientific ones. There is no doubt that the fossil fuel industry is carrying on its books trillions of dollars of proven reserves, and there is no doubt that the scientific reality of fossil fuel-induced climate change calls into question their ability to economically extract these assets. And because of the real issues here, to me, are not just legal and jurisdictional ones. They're scientific and, in fact, political. And whether or not this hearing ends up being just another gigantic waste of time and taxpayer money depends really on how the science underlying global warming lands. This hearing, to my mind, is just another example of a rearguard action by a group of people who do not accept the facts of climate change and are abusing their positions in the majority to undertake hearings that will, in fact, end up being a giant waste of taxpayer money. It's long past time that this committee accepts the scientific facts of climate change, like the vast majority of scientists have, and take on the very serious work of figuring out where we go from here as a country and as an economy. This is the challenge of our lifetime. And now if I could make a small effort to try to actually return to a scientific point here. Professor Rotunda, I was fascinated by what seemed to be your support of an argument that the Greenland ice sheet would melt and thereby lower the sea level. And I was wondering if you can expound on how exactly the physics of this works.
Well, yeah, I'll try to summarize. I gave you the citation for the article, and I'll summarize, I think, what the Harvard professor said. Ice has mass. Mass has gravity. When the ice sheet melts, all the gravity that was then part of the island of New Greenland disappears into the ocean, just goes away. And that ice has been pushing Greenland down, and now Greenland will be moving up, because the water is all over the place. He said that Netherlands should be more worried about the Antarctic ice rather than the Arctic ice. Now, as you can read it all,
so is it your belief
article.
that when Greenland ice sheets melt, there will obviously be a local effect where the land will pop up, where the load of the ice sheet
He said 2,000
disappears.
kilometers away, up to 2,000 kilometers away.
But overall, the effect, just from general principles, has to be to significantly raise water levels worldwide.
Well,
unless there's new physics I'm not aware of, I think that's sort of fundamental.
Read his article. I mean, that's what he says.
Now, this was a peer-reviewed journal, or?
The article is summarizing his research, which was in peer-reviewed journals. I read it in the translation form in the Harvard magazine, and they're doing an article about him. And he said that he liked doing the Pliocene age because it was far away and not subject to this controversy. As he studies this, he discovers it has an effect today. He puts his math in his papers, which were peer-reviewed and published. And it's an article about the review. In fact, you illustrate the problem of scientists. Say, he can't believe this, that can't be right, so we should investigate. In fact, we have this strange world that when...
Has he come under any
Excuse me, I have to finish the sentence. When the House of Representatives sends a subpoena to non-government NGO groups, that's chilling. When the state attorney general sends the subpoenas to NGOs and threatens criminal prosecution, that's
okay, no, I'm trying to answer a scientific question.
Yeah, sure.
And it just seems amazing that the overall water levels would change in the direction that you seem to believe it would.
For 2,000 kilometers. After that...
Oh, you're talking about the local depression, but it will be a big problem for the rest of the world if the Greenland ice sheet...
Well, I mean... It's not going to be a problem for
Anyway, I am
Europe.
now, I guess, past my time here, and at some point I'd like to return to science in this committee, and thank you.
I appreciate your question.
Thank you, Mr. Foster.